Simplifying homeschool sounds like an incredibly unattainable, unrealistic thing, right? Wrong. I want to share with you today 5 ways that we have simplified our homeschool. First and foremost, in today's video, if you want to simplify homeschool, you have got to shut out the world outside. This is what I think is so important, and I have to share. There are 1,010,000 voices in this world that will try and tell you how to do things in your home and in your homeschool. But I can promise you that one of the ways we have totally reeled in how we've done things in our home is by shutting out all of the other voices and really truly finding our groove and figuring it out for ourselves. Yes, there are so many resources and so many helpful tools and so many helpful mamas who share so much wisdom with us all that is so incredibly valuable. However, all in different seasons. So something I may share with you today may resonate with you, and it may not, because you may have younger kiddos and things might not apply the same, right? We all know this. So that is definitely one of the most important things that I can tell you and encourage you to do, is to shut out the voices. Calm the voices around you. And you guys, I still want to share so much about Instagram and my whole experience with that, but time will tell. It'll happen eventually, I think, because that has been such an incredibly life-changing thing for me, and I can't wait to share it with more of you. However, back to ways that we have simplified our homeschool. After we quiet all the noises around us, okay, after we shut everything out and just really get into our groove and figure out how we are going to do things and how our kids function and work best, after we've quieted the voices, okay, after we've quieted all the noises around us that are trying to pour into us and tell us how we're doing things and how we should change things and what we should do differently and what we're doing wrong, and that we need to know our children's learning styles and we need to know our teaching style and all these things. I'll tell you, after 10 years, almost 11 years homeschooling my kids, I still don't know really my children's learning style. I've never dove into like all those details. I just haven't found it to be necessary. However, once we quiet all those voices and all those noises, we are going to give it time. If you give yourself and your children time to adjust to this whole homeschooling idea, maybe you are not new to homeschooling, or maybe you are. Your kids need to know what this looks like. Maybe you just have young kiddos and you're just now learning how to homeschool them, and you're homeschooling preschool. You have toddlers and you're homeschooling, preschool age kids or early elementary kids. Whatever it looks like for you in your situation, our kids need to know what this homeschool concept is going to look like. So for us, it really took a while to find that groove once we started homeschooling to begin with, because yes, my son went to public school for 6 weeks. However, once we brought him home, he was like, what does this look like? Like, yes, we can say we homeschool and we're going to have specific time learning and this is what we're going to do in those hours. Like, it is so incredibly helpful to lay it out for your kids so that they kind of know, what even is homeschooling? What does this even look like? What does it mean? If you have young kiddos, trying to help them understand this concept of homeschooling and learning, they need to know what that looks like. So start small, give yourself time, give your kids time. If you have older kids and you've pulled them out of public school and you're going to homeschool, let them know what that looks like. Let them know what that means. My kids have gotten older. They know what is expected of them because they're older. But when you have younger kids, that can look very different because each day is new. Even with older kids, with everyone, each day is new. Again, we have been homeschooling for 10.5 years, and our life is obviously gonna look very different than possibly your life. So keep that in mind with this, but I want to encourage you that over time, as you practice homeschooling, as you practice this method of teaching and training and growing your children and educating your children, they will start to somewhat fall into a routine and know what's expected of them. Do not expect them to know on day 2, day 10, day 25, what is necessarily expected of them. It's going to take time. So simplify homeschooling by giving yourself time and understanding that it's going to take time to create these habits and to create this environment, and it's going to take time for everyone to kind of understand what this even means and what this looks like. So take some of that pressure off. Don't overdo everything in the beginning. Don't expect that as soon as you go into this, everyone's gonna know what this means and what this looks like. Because I will tell you right now, after 10.5 years homeschooling our boys, it looks so incredibly different now than it did when I very first started homeschooling in kindergarten. So over time, it all takes time. Third tip that I wanna share with you when it comes to simplifying homeschool I'm telling you, put away the electronics, the distractions, anything and everything that might pull your child's attention away, that might pull your attention away, that might make things divided. Do not try and homeschool your kids when they're younger while you're trying to do the dishes and do the laundry and doing all these multitasking things. It's so much easier to homeschool your children. Hold aside the distractions, the extra noises, the extra voices, all the extra things that you're trying to do and accomplish, especially when they're little. As they get older and more independent, which is the goal somewhat, and take their education into their own hands in some light and in some respect. Not completely. We're not ready for that completely here in our home. However, there are subjects that my boys know they have to do, and they can do them independently. Create a space, a designated bin, whatever it might be for your child, where all of their items go in that bin. For instance, for our family, we have found that each child having their own individual bin with all of their homeschool curriculum and homeschool supplies and any books that they happen to be reading all in their own bin. This method of storing our children's curriculum has not changed throughout the years of homeschooling. There was a season where I thought backpacks would be a good idea. It just ended up becoming this daunting thing as they get older and their books get bigger and heavier. It was easier just to keep things in a bin. They go grab what they need out of their bin. We do their book work, and then they put their homeschool curriculum back in their bin that goes in our homeschool area. We do not have a designated homeschool space in our home. We don't always homeschool in the dining room. We don't always homeschool on the couch. It's different every day. So I wanted to create a central, neutral space where everything that was related to homeschooling was stored, and my boys knew where to go to get the things that belonged to them, where to go to get the things that they needed to accomplish in their homeschool day. So having a central location where you store your homeschool items has definitely simplified things for us, even narrowing it down to each child having their own bin or their own homeschool backpack that's only for homeschooling. Okay, I want to take a quick minute to share with you a little bit more about the sponsor of today's video, which is Night Zookeeper. This is a full language arts curriculum that is done online. It's like a game where your children are learning grammar, punctuation, building sentences, writing essays, how to navigate the computer. They're learning typing skills, how to put sentences together, the structure of sentences. This is a full language arts curriculum if you choose for it to be so in your home and your family. I wanted to share this video with you guys today. If you are looking at simplifying things, Night Zookeeper is definitely an option. I know here in our home, we love using Night Zookeeper on those days when we don't get to the bookwork. So it's like a game. It's fun for the kids. It's something they enjoy doing. It's not a really big, daunting task for them. So if you're on the go, you can do it on the go. It's an awesome program. We enjoy using it in our home and in our homeschool, and I wanted to share that with you today. If you are looking for something a little bit different or something to add on to your homeschool curriculum already, Night Zookeeper is offering a 50% off discount to all of my subscribers. So I will leave that code linked in the description box down below. I have a little snack at my feet that is my absolute most favorite snack in the whole wide world. English cucumbers with a little bit of salt and pepper on them. My absolute favorite. Totally random. You guys do not need to know this. However, I diced this up before I came and sat down and started to film this. Delicious. I have two more things I want to share with you. One of them is a bonus in this video. I like to give those little added bonuses, and sometimes as I'm filming these, different things will come to me, which I love, and being open to that idea of just sharing what I truly feel on our heart, not necessarily something that I've sat and thought about and processed, but sometimes things just come to me. And so two more things that I want to share with you. Something that might be circumstantial to your situation. For us personally, this has simplified our homeschool so much. Having curriculum that grades itself. Now, I know some of this is not realistic if you have littles, and depending on the type of curriculum that you're using, maybe you grade, maybe you don't. That can look different. It's not going to look like linear across the board. For instance, right now, teaching textbooks is what my children use for math, and my oldest is using Shoreman math. Those are both auto-grading, self-correcting, all the things. Keeps the records, keeps everything online so that I'm not having to do that. That has simplified things for us so much. That hasn't always been the case. I know with some curriculum, it's not even an option, but that is one simple thing that has made things so much easier for this mama. There was a short period where we did Saxon math, and me having to go back and regrade everything, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just one more thing. So I truly, truly appreciate a good, solid curriculum that is also self-grading. If you are new to my channel, you might not know this. However, those of you who've been here for a long time know already that I reverse record keep. I do not wake up to a huge list of to-dos in our homeschool day. I know kind of what I'm looking at doing. I know kind of how I want my day to flow. I do obviously do a huge brain dump in the morning and just kind of get my thoughts out, my vision for the day, something that's very important to me. And I'll talk more about that in a future video. However, I do not wake up necessarily to a huge layout of daunting to-dos as far as our homeschool day goes. I reverse record keep. So when we complete something in our home for that specific day, I write it down in my homeschool planner. I will write down what we did. I will cross off the lesson. I will cross off any information and write it down. Books that we read, Bible time, whatever gather round homeschool unit we happen to be doing, I write that down and I write the lesson down. I write down anything and everything that pertains to our homeschool day for that day. If it's a co-op day, I write down co-op. If it's a field trip day, I write down the field trip that we took. That is how I lay out our homeschool day, and that has simplified things for me so much. I tried to follow homeschool like planners, rigorous planners, and teachers' manuals that come with the curriculum and all of that, and that does not work for our family. It may not be the case for you, however, it is the case for us. I don't thrive in that type of environment, and neither do my boys. Boys do know what's expected of them every day. Again, they are older. I'm homeschooling 9th grade, 7th grade, and 4th grade. So being 10 and a half years in, by now my boys kind of naturally know what's expected of them. They kind of naturally know what our day is going to look like. So give it time. That is my biggest tip. Shut out the noises, get rid of the distractions, stop the comparison game, sit and give it time. Give it time for your kids to adjust. Give yourself time for you to adjust to what this homeschooling gig is gonna look like, right? This is not going to look the same for anybody. It's going to look incredibly different. There is no right or wrong way to homeschool your kids. These are just a few simple but absolutely life-changing tips that I have to share with you when it comes to simplifying things for us in our home for our personal homeschool journey. I hope this encourages you. Let me know if any of these are things that you do in your homeschool as well already, and I can't wait to catch you in our next video. I'll see you then. Bye.